This is the last of the Taste of Shabbos series. I can't believe it. We had show after show after show. I think there were a total of 8. And so many of you joined us. And I'm so happy that you're here with us on our last show. And for many reasons, the theme tonight is thank you. As you saw from the song, Thank You Hashem from Joey Newcomb. Thank you, first of all, for coming back week after week after week after week. It's so special that you joined us, and I know a lot of people enjoyed it. Thank you is also very important because it's Erev Thanksgiving for us, and so it's always nice to be reminded to have that thankful mindset. And also, if you really enjoyed it, send an email to Project Inspire. Tell them what you loved about these shows, and maybe we could have other ones that are similar to it. I want to share a beautiful thought with you on the topic of being thankful. Many years ago, my oldest son, who's now 20, when he was in 4th grade, he came up with this amazing question. He was learning about the 10 plagues in Egypt. And he was taught that the first, and it was taught correctly, that the first 3 plagues were not given by Moses, that Moses wasn't allowed to do the first 3 plagues, that only Aaron, his brother, could do it. And the reason was that the items that needed to be struck, being the water or the sand, were items that actually helped Moses. They saved him. And God wanted to teach us that you can't hurt or strike something that was beneficial for you. So my son asked the question. He said, how was the sand beneficial for Moses? So there was a point in time when Moses had killed an Egyptian. And when he killed that Egyptian, he buried the Egyptian in the sand to hide the evidence until the sand covered it up. But just a short while later, it was revealed to all that he had killed this Egyptian. So my son said, the sand didn't save him at all. It makes no sense, he said, Ima. Word got back to Paro. He was in trouble. He had to run away. So what is he thankful for? Great question, especially for a 4th grader. What was he supposed to be thankful for? So I love learning, and it got my mind spinning and spinning and spinning, and I didn't know what to do. I was researching, and I finally found a thought. I said, aha, this is the answer for my son. What was my thought that I read? That a person is supposed to be thankful for every little thing. It doesn't matter how great an achievement something has occurred. It could be the minutest thing. You have to appreciate that little step. So, did the sand cover up that Egyptian for a short period of time? Yes. And that was the amazing lesson that God was teaching us in that story. That not always when something happens, we're going to be so thankful for the entire outcome. We have to learn to be thankful for the little steps. Might not have the outcome that we like, but were there little steps along the way that we need to recognize, that we need to say thank you for? Yes. So this evening, we're going to learn a lot. We're going to have 2 presenters, one in the beginning, one at the end, our bookends. They're going to give us little insights into being thankful. In the middle, we are going to have Tablescapes. We're all about presentation tonight. How are you going to present? Now, presentation, on the one hand, could be something accessorized, right? Like tonight, I'm accessorizing with my scarf. But we're learning about how to accessorize your Shabbat table and how to make it beautiful. And when you are able to make something look beautiful, it gives you this sense of appreciation. You have this more thankful attitude for everything that's around you. When you wake up in the morning, I had this custom that one of my teachers taught me when I was in seminary, that if you set your table, and they might talk about this, I don't know, I hope I'm not stepping on anybody's toes. If you set your table Thursday night for Shabbos, when you wake up in the morning, Shabbos morning, it sets a tone for the household. My kids always like to say, oh, we love it, Ima, when you put up the chillent Thursday night. When we wake up Friday, we know, oh, Shabbos is coming. Or you're baking the challah and we smell it in the oven when they wake up Friday morning. Shabbos is coming. It gives them a sense of, well, tonight, we're going to look at these tables. We're going to look at these designs, and we're going to be like, oh my gosh, can we do some of that? So without further ado, I'd love to call on our first inspirational speaker, Marla. Can we find Marla? Hi, Marla. Can you tell everyone where you're from?
Okay. Hi, I'm from Toronto.
And where are you now, though? Where are you located right now?
Right now, I'm in Miami Beach.
That's important. Okay. She's out of the freezing cold, everybody. She's in Miami because this story that she's going to share with us happens to have taken place in Miami, but she is from Toronto. Go ahead, Marla.
Okay, I want to share. First of all, I want to thank Jordana for including me this evening. And this is really an incredible story about being thankful and appreciating what you have. So we are in Miami Beach. We've been here, my daughter and I, for a little bit. And it was it was her Hebrew birthday. And the other family members are not here. And she was a little bit melancholy. And we were trying to make it exciting for her. And one of my friends from New York was also here extending their stay and happened to have been asking if we could pick up their groceries and their cooked food, which we happily accepted, to enhance our Shabbos. And then my daughter, who normally bakes but never bakes a cake, turned to me on Thursday night and said, I think I'm going to make a cake. And I felt very guilty. Perhaps she's making her own birthday cake. And so she made this cake. Came out magnificently. She was very disappointed. She put it away. She didn't like it. Thursday night, we made our whole Shabbos. We were all done. Friday, we're out at the pool. We're relaxing. We're walking. We're enjoying. The table was set Thursday night. And Friday, took out the candles, got ready to light my candles. I turn around. My daughter is dressed like she's going off to shul. It was her Hebrew birthday. She decided she's going to get dressed in all her finery. I turned around and went, uh-oh, I better get dressed too. So we both got dressed. I light my candles. I look at her for some unbeknownst reason and I said, let's go for a walk. Now, normally on a Friday night after we light candles, we don't go for a walk. In fact, Emil, we say we're going to go for a walk and then we pass out on the couch. We never go for a walk. So we started to walk down Collins Avenue. And because of COVID, it's a little bit quieter and the streets were deserted. We got down about, I would say, a couple of blocks, and she turned around and she said, let's walk back. I've had enough. I said, okay. And we're starting to walk back. As we're walking, there is this woman running towards us like there's no tomorrow. She's wearing a sheitel, a wig, and a mask, and she's running right up to us. And we have no clue what's wrong with her. She comes right up to us and says, where can I light my candles? I must light my Shabbos candles. I looked at her and I said, where are you staying? And she pointed to a hotel. I said, listen, she was still within the 18 minutes to keep lighting for Shabbos. I said, let's walk back quickly to my apartment and we'll figure it out. As we're walking back, we passed a condominium, a shul and a kosher restaurant. And I said to myself, maybe perchance the restaurant is open and there's candles for her to light there. We run in, we go and find the restaurant lit and the candles are all set up and she runs in and she lights her candles. So we felt, wow, amazing. Look what we were able to do. Baruch Hashem, we were able to complete this mitzvah for her. We turn around, we feel pretty good about ourselves and we look at her and she is just sobbing and crying and wiping her tears and we can't figure out what's going on. So we said to ourselves, we can't have this woman stay alone. I don't know this woman's name. I don't know where she's come from. And I looked at her. She came out of the restaurant and she said, the man in the restaurant said, I could eat here alone and I could eat my meals and I'll pay after Shabbos. I looked at her and I said, do you really want to be alone on Shabbos? And she said, no. I said, listen, if it wasn't COVID, I would have you upstairs. But you know what? We did it for Sukkot. We'll eat outside. We'll set at the pool and we'll our meal together. And she walked with us. I still didn't know her name. I didn't know where she came from, but I knew that this woman needed to be with someone for Shabbos. And it was my daughter's birthday. When do we ever get an opportunity now in the height of COVID to have a guest? I said, listen, Hashem sent us a beautiful guest. We're going to have to look at her. We left her down in the lobby with her mask on. We got the table and chairs set up, and we sat outside. We sang Shalom Aleichem. We sang Eishes Chayil. I made Kiddush. And this woman just started to disclose what's going on with her. She has a very special needs son. Her husband sent her to Florida for respite and relaxation. And he actually accidentally booked her in the wrong hotel. When she came out of the hotel, she was supposed to be 100 blocks up at a different hotel with the same name, where meals were being provided for her in the area. She walked out of the hotel, she looked for the address, and she was running back and forth, couldn't find the address, and was very confused and distraught. All the things were just incredible. We never have cake. Now we have a cake to give a guest. We never go for a walk. We walk and found a guest. We're sitting outside. We're enjoying our smiros and singing and Devar Torahs. And it was the most interesting thing because she was from the Hasidic enclave called New Square outside of Muncie, New York. And she explained who she was. She's one of 15 children. Her husband's one of 16 children. And she described in a community that we would never have heard of. And we described our lives to her, something she never would have heard of. We had the most wonderful meal with her. We learned so much that meal, and we invited her back again for lunch, told her what time to come. And she said something so interesting. Her son was born, and this was the Shabbos of Parshas Lech Lecha, and that's when her son was born. That Parsha, when we were having our meal together. And then she said one other thing. Her grandfather was a young boy before the war, and he lived in an area where the Grand Belz Rebbe lived, and he was invited up to have an aliyah being called up for the Torah that week. He finished his aliyah up to the Torah, and the Rebbe himself took his hand and said to him in Yiddish, "You have to leave now, Lech Lecha." And he didn't understand what was going on. And the Rebbe took his hand again and said, Lech Lecha. And so he got it. He said he had to leave. He went back to his parents' home. What they did was they packed up their stuff, and immediately following Shabbos, they left their village. They ran into the forest. And the next day, the Nazis came and plundered that village and rounded up all the Jews. And they were saved by staying in the forest and joining the partisans. And they came to America. It was an incredible Shabbos. My daughter's Hebrew birthday, so she gave her a special blessing forth, and we shared the most incredible time and talk about being thankful. Here we thought we were doing her such a favor, but in essence, she was doing us such a favor because we had the most thankful, incredible Shabbos that we had ever had in a very long time. And, it's coming up to American Thanksgiving, and everybody wants to be thankful and everybody wants to appreciate. It's crazy times right now, but you know what? We have to take the opportunities that are presented to us and grab onto them and hear the messages. And the message for me and my daughter that Shabbos was, you're not going to have a quiet Shabbos. You're going to have a very busy, full Shabbos. And we were very, very thankful. We've become very fast friends with this lovely young lady. And we made a wonderful friend, and we had a wonderful experience. And I just want everybody.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Marla. That was so inspirational. And it's true. You have to be thankful for every little aspect, In a way, you're even thankful for COVID, because without COVID, you would never have been in Florida. You would never have met this woman. She would never have been there. All these little things that we don't necessarily have that mindset for is now you were able to see it in a different light. And I so appreciate you sharing that wonderful story with us. We're going to get started with our accessorizing our Shabbat right now. I just want to say thank you for the people that are putting in little messages into the chat. I saw someone's from Mexico, Calgary, a lot of Toronto people in here. It's so nice. You could keep on putting things in the chat. I'm reading it. Don't worry. Okay. So without further ado, we're going to call on Rivki. Rivki, where's Rivki? She's going to do our formal table. Rivki, where are you originally from? Toronto?
I am not. I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, me too.
And I got married, moved to Toronto.
Oh, okay.
I'm a New Yorker all the way.
I'm a New Yorker also, so don't worry about it. And we have someone from New Hampshire as well. Great. Go ahead, Rivki. Show us what you got.
Okie dokie. Well, here we have a traditional formal table. And as you can see, I like color. And although I have these crystal glasses, which are formal, I like to funk it up with some colorful glasses for water. I have these chargers here, but I find that as soon as the men come, they just remove the chargers because they can't eat on anything gold, I guess. I received this sterling silverware as a gift from my aunts when I got married. And we love to use it for the Shabbos table because it beautifies it so much. As I mentioned, I come from New York, so when I got married, my parents started coming here sometimes for Yontif, and every time they'd come, they'd buy me a piece of silver, like a napkin holder or the candlesticks. But one of the last times they came, they bought me fish forks, because you can't cut salmon without a fish fork. Anyway, I have this table with all these flowers are not really the most practical when you're serving buffet style. So we take the flowers off when we're serving the food, unless you want to pre-plate it in the kitchen, and then you can leave your flowers on the table. Every family has different traditions. In my family growing up, my father would sit at the head of the table and all the kids would line up and we'd bend over and my father would bench us, he'd bless us. I would hear the whispering and I'd smell his aftershave, but I didn't know what he was saying. I found out later that he was blessing the boys to become like Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, our forefathers, and the girls to be like our mothers, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah. My husband did not have that tradition, maybe because he comes from a Polish family and I come from a Hungarian family, but I convinced him that we should take on that tradition because it doesn't take away from anybody, but it just enhances the whole Shabbos. My parents used to have the candles on the table, but I found that it was hard to clean up and change tablecloths if it got dirty, so we keep ours on a trolley. So when my husband makes Kiddush, and he has to see the candles. He just stands here by the table, looks over there, and we're good. I bought this challah cloth when I was in Israel on one trip, and my challah tray on one of my JWRP trips. Go JWRP. I received this as a gift from my mother-in-law. I inherited it. And we like to use anything beautiful that we have. As we know, Shabbos is like a queen. And we do everything for the Shabbos queen. We clean our houses for Shabbos. We prepare beautiful foods and we set the table as nicely as we can. And as I mentioned before, you can take the flowers off the table. If it was a plant, you couldn't take it off the table because you can't touch a live tree or a plant. So we use cut flowers instead so we can move them around. With the candles, you can touch the candlesticks, but if you put something holy on the tray, such as a chumash or a siddur, then you can lift the tray and take it off.
This is a question, Rivki. Can I ask a question?
You certainly can.
Okay, two questions I have. Number one, those colorful glasses. What did you find it in a specialty store? Is there
little secret? Yes. I got a present from. We have a lot of company here in Toronto because every time there's a simcha, we live near the shul, so they put up families by us. Okay. So there was a family who came. They bought me a gift from Eastside China in New York. So the next time I went to Eastside China in New York, I returned it and I bought these glasses. They come with a matching picture too.
Right, because
I got these glasses once when I babysat for my sister-in-law. She went to Florida and I had the kids, so I got that.
I was gonna say, I don't know, do you have an Amazing Savings in Toronto at all?
No, but I go to New York so frequently that Amazing Savings is my home store. Because my husband says, what do you need in Amazing Savings? I say, I'll know when I get there.
Right, because they have such interesting things. I was also looking underneath your flowers, you have those mirrors, right? You see underneath the flowers, you have those mirrors. correct?
So this is something I do not do on a regular Shabbos because I could. I sure I do. I so do. I have all these flowers every Shabbos. Because this is how I live, or I don't, either way. And my friend Gitti happened to lend me these mirrors for tonight.
Okay.
I cheated.
Because I know that also enhances when you put the mirror, just giving everyone a little tidbit, when you put a flat mirror where you could buy in a Dollar Tree, or I don't know what you have in Toronto, but by us, we have amazing savings. Sometimes they come 4 in a pack. You put it under something. Anytime you could even put it on under a dish. It just enhances the entire table because it also makes it look bigger than it is. Another little secret is also if you get frames, you could get already pre-framed mirrors. I don't know what stores again you have by us. We
have Dollar Tree.
Yes, you do have Dollar Tree. You could get mirrored frames and they're amazing. And you could also put things on that. So really, is there anything else you'd like to show us? Or
I think that's it. I have my buffet where I keep extra things. I have my candles. There's no room on the table for them today, but these are all, as I mentioned, these are presents from my parents. And I think this is our traditional formal table. If you have any more questions.
I love it. It's gorgeous. I love the chargers. I love the little waves of the chargers. And
thank you.
Mentioning that you have IKEAs, that some people have gotten stuff in IKEA, which is true. You could get a lot of stuff on IKEA for a good price. So thank you so much.
A pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Now we're going to have a special video presentation. Someone said, yes, they bought chargers at Michael's. Yes, Michael's. AC Moore, I don't know, AC Moore by us closed down, so I don't know. But we're going to have a special video presentation. Before the video presentation, I want to tell you that the person who's presenting in the video, she's straight from Toronto. Her name is Rebecca Salmon. She is a Toronto-based florist. Her company is called RS Floral Design and Decor, and you can find her on Instagram and Facebook. So if you like what you see, go ahead and like her on Instagram and Facebook. That's important to show the love, to show that you liked what you saw. So without further ado, Lisa, let's show that video, okay?
Hi everyone, my name is Rebecca, the owner and designer behind RS Floral. And today I'm going to give you a couple ideas of what you can do to decorate and elevate your Hanukkah table with some flowers. So the first thing is that what I wanted to show is just a flower arrangement. Obviously, you could do whatever type of flowers speak to you, but I think that during Hanukkah and when you're setting your Hanukkah table, if you use any, here I have a mirrored vase, so if you use a mirrored vase or any silver vases, I think that the silver and mirror look really enhance the festive spirit of Hanukkah. So I paired here, I have a silver vase that I paired with, sorry, I don't know, with the lighting, it's a little bit odd, but I paired it here with white flowers. I put some white hydrangeas, I put some white calla lilies, I put some silver brunia to bring in that silver look. I didn't have any white roses, so I put some green roses, but I would, for Hanukkah, put white roses. And I think this arrangement of just having, white with gray, with either a silver vase or a mirror vase really gives like a Hanukkah type of feel. Now the other idea that's very cute to put down your Hanukkah table is to make a flower Chanukiah. So for this, I recommend using bud vases, so you don't need to use as many flowers. I would get 9 bud vases, all the same size, and 1 small vase that you can use to elevate one of the bud vases to make it the shamash of the Chanukiah. You can really use any flowers that you want. I would recommend doing an orange or a red flower to look like a flame, or you can use a calla lily because I think that the shape of it actually sort of looks a little bit like a flame. So when you're starting, what you're going to do is you're going to take your calla lily and you're going to measure it outside the vase to see the height that you want it to be by holding it up to the vase and seeing where you want to cut it. You want that the head of the calla lily should be right at the top of the vase because it will help support the flower. You can do as many calla lilies, or if you want to do tulips, you could do as many as you want per vase. And when you're done, you're going to lay out all your vases in a line. And depending on the size of your table, you can make them more spread out, or you can make them closer together. And in the middle, you'll put one bud vase on top of that other vase like I showed, just to make it a little bit raised up to be the shamash. And you can put a little bit of double-sided tape if you're worried that it's going to move. It's usually pretty secure because no one's going to come over and touch it. And you have here down the middle of your table a very cute and easy Hanukkah themed flower arrangement, a Chanukiah. The other idea that you can do, which is very similar, is you can also use glass cylinder vases in different heights. You can buy 8 vases one height and 1 vase a little bit taller to be the shamash. And again, put them down your table, though that will take up more room, so you would need to have a little bit of a larger table. And you also would need to fill it with more flowers. So the other option of using the bud vases is definitely easier to do. And those were my 2 looks for your Hanukkah table. So I have, again, my flowers, my white flowers, which I took some of them out to fill my Chanukiah, my white with gray or silver, and my flower Chanukiah to put down your table. Thanks all for watching. I hope I gave some of you some ideas.
That was great. I love that idea of the menorah, the Chanukiah, how it's those different vases, and then she doubled up the vase to make the shamash in the middle. That's really genius. You know, that's a perfect project to do even with your kids, believe it or not. Let's say you want to get ready for Friday Shabbat, and you want to say, let's do something thematic for Hanukkah that is going to be on Shabbat. And that's a beautiful way that they could get involved and do things together with you and make it a little bit of different, special, accessorize your Shabbat table dedicated to Hanukkah. I'm sure there are many things we could do thematically in all different areas as well. Okay, we are now going to shift to a different look. We're going to look for Pessy. Pessy is doing a more rustic look. Hi, Pessy.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Pessy, where are you from?
I am from Toronto as well, born and bred.
Oh, long-time Torontan. Okay.
Yeah. I go back a long ways to Toronto.
Okay, so tell us what you got for us, Pessy.
So, what I have for you is something a little bit different. I do my Friday night more like what Rivki does, which is a traditional, lots of gold and silver, very similar to what Rivki did. But sometimes on Shabbat afternoon, I like to do something a little more casual, a little more fun. Also, on these short winter days when Shabbat ends early, people don't always like to have like a long stretched out meal. So I try to do what I call a 1-course Shabbat meal. And I make my table a little more rustic, a little more casual looking, but I do try to keep the beauty of Shabbat in it. So I still use my silver cutlery and I still use glassware. But I use a lot of wood in it and a lot of natural looking decor and pieces. And I set it with basically all the food on the table. I have here, I make 2 charcuterie boards, one for each end of the table. They're basically mirror images of each other. And I put on it all kinds of different meats and chicken so that everybody can enjoy from it. And then in the middle, I would put I put like what would be my appetizer if I was serving appetizer, which is liver and eggs and crackers and all kinds of condiments that go with it. And this way people can just come and sit down and enjoy. Now I have to explain that in my home, we have a lot of guests that are just people who don't have anywhere to go. They're singles or people who are from other countries or other cities. We sometimes have what we call the UN in our house. We have guests from Australia, Sri Lanka, Panama, Israel, all kinds of different places. So they enjoy just the camaraderie, but they don't want to be necessarily served every course, and they don't want a long meal. So I like to set up a table where they feel very comfortable and very cozy, and they can just enjoy the meal. And then I bring out the hot food, which is the cholent and kugel and all kinds of hot food, but it's all eaten at the same time. And this way we enjoy ourselves and everybody enjoys each other's company. I get to sit at the meal. I'm not serving the whole time. And we have just a lot of warmth and discussions and it's just it's a very cozy feel to our Shabbos. And then everyone can go home and go to sleep, which is really what people want to do. So I hope you see the details that we like to just do it very casual, but still classy and still in honor of Shabbat.
You know, Pessy, I must say, I think besides the fact, even what you're wearing, I like the green that goes with the rustic look. But what I wanted to say,
I just got dressed for Shabbos today.
what I picked up on right away is when you said that you have most of the food out. So that way you could sit with your guests and enjoy the meal. And so that you're not in that constant mode of getting up and bringing out the food and being the hostess and so on and so forth. It's so smart. It's so genius because you yourself can sit back, relax, look at what you do, and also be thankful. Oh my gosh, look what I've accomplished. Sometimes you could be running from the kitchen to the table, to the kitchen, to the table. And then by the time you sit down to enjoy, everybody's almost done eating. And then you have to get up again to start cleaning off the table. So this is a genius idea. And I love the fact that it's a different look. Like you said, it's a comfy look. It's the first look we saw was formal, which is also amazing. But this is also, the focus is the guests. The focus is enjoying each other's company. And so that everything is out there for the taking. So I love it. Thank you so much, Pessy.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. And everybody should enjoy their Shabbos however they best can enjoy it.
Amen. Exactly. Okay. Now we're going to look for Aviva Weiss. Aviva Weiss. Where are you? Hi, Aviva. Hi. Aviva's going to do a little bit of a Hanukkah theme. She's going to focus since Hanukkah's coming up. We're in Kislev right now. And Aviva, you're also from Toronto.
Not originally.
Oh, so where are you from originally?
Colombia, Bogota.
Oh, check that out. Okay. Okay. Let's see what you got for us.
Okay, so I love to entertain, and I found it very hard with COVID because we haven't had company in a long time. And actually, when I set my table for tonight, I really found it difficult because we're not really using it, and I can't keep it for Shabbos because we're not having company. Unfortunately, Toronto's in another lockdown. So I'll show you a few things about my table. I love doing a square table because it makes a great conversation. You don't have anyone at the end. You don't have anyone who can't be part of it. Whether it's kids, whether it's adults, it's really easy to have conversation. The tablecloths. These are great tablecloths. They're washable. They're like a velvet, and I get them in Israel on King George or Strauss. Maybe once King George turns to Strauss.
You think you can find it online?
It's a fabric store. No, you have to go to Israel. But then the tablecloths are really cheap. It's like $18 a tablecloth, and they just cut the fabric to size. So I have 8 of them, and I use them for simchas. I have silver, I have cream, I have burgundy. I have all different colors, and they're great to use. You mentioned, by the way, about amazing savings. Unfortunately, we don't have that. We also don't have Trader Joe's. So when we go to New York, we stock up on Trader Joe's also. I was planning to buy fresh flowers to do my centerpiece, but unfortunately they were going on another lockdown starting today. And I was scared that I wouldn't be able to get flowers, and I wanted to get them fresh. So Motzei Shabbos, we went to Michael's and got some silk flowers, which isn't bad because now I'll have flowers that will last for a while.
Okay.
If you'll notice, my centerpiece, what I did was, because it's Hanukkah, I'm sorry, I'm shaking it too much. I'm going to put the computer down. My centerpiece are vases that I put floating candles in. So if you notice, it's a menorah. There's 4 on each side and 1 on the top. It is not a kosher menorah. It's just to represent the menorah. In our family, everyone has different customs. We don't sing Mazur on Friday when we light the menorah. We sing it at our Shabbos table when the men come home from shul, because that's really the time that we would light the menorah. So I put on everyone's plate the Mazur. So when we sing, everyone has on their plate. Or you can also do a different version, just a few on the table, so people can sing along with Mazur. Because it's Hanukkah, and we can't make fresh latkes, I'll show you what I do, what I like to do for the table. I make little latkes kugels, and you can make them ahead of time and freeze them if you bake them halfway, and then put them in the oven before Shabbos on 200, and they stay really crispy. And as soon as this is over, we're gonna eat them. What else? So my mother's side, my mother's Swiss. So we grew up with very formal. My grandparents used to sit at different sides of the table. And when my mother was a child, before she took a sip of water, she would have to ask if she can have a sip. So we live in very different times now, but I still like the formal table. So I do a charger. I put a napkin. Sometimes I'll fold a cloth napkin and I'll fold a paper napkin into it. So when you open it, you have a paper napkin that you can use. For this, I don't have matching cloth napkins. So I took paper, and because it's Hanukkah, I put a sticker on it. Everyone has a sticker. Other thing is that when people come in and they go to their chairs, because it's Hanukkah, I try to leave on everyone's chair a little Hanukkah gift that they can use for Shabbos. So in this one, I have Hanukkah bingo, and I opened everything ahead of time so that when the grandkids come, or if you have other kids or whatever it is, they can use them. They have something to play with so that we really feel the Hanukkah spirit. On the table, I also put Pringles and chocolate coins, just so that we really feel the spirit of Hanukkah while we're at the Shabbos table.
Wow, that's great. That's great. Thank you, Aviva. That's really nice. You know, Aviva just touched on one little law that I just want to mention. She was saying that when she makes sure that everyone gets a gift, it's a gift that you could use on Shabbat, that you could use on Shabbos. According to Jewish law, you could give gifts to people on Shabbos, but it has to be something that they can actually use on Shabbos. One shouldn't be giving a gift that they'd be using after Shabbos. That's like preparing for afterwards, and we don't do that. So if you ever give a gift to somebody, make sure it's something that they could actually use on Shabbat. Very good, Aviva. I'm so glad you touched on that little nuance of a law that's important. Thank you. It looks beautiful. I love the tablecloths, but I bet you there has to be a place on Amazon that we could get it. We can't all just go to Israel. I'm sure we're gonna research and we're gonna find it. We're gonna find it. Okay, we have our next table decor. Gloria, where's Gloria?
Hello.
Hi. Do we have her featured there? Do we have Gloria featured? Hi, how are you, Gloria?
I'm good. How are you?
Are you originally from Toronto, or are you from someplace else first?
No, born in Toronto, raised in Toronto, live in Toronto.
Okay, there you go. Go ahead, show us what you got.
Okay, so I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I'm going to show you how to create a formal tablescape. And what I've done is I've created 2 different looks that I'm going to go through. And when I do my tables, I like to theme them. So you can do themes like the rustic theme or the Hanukkah, but oftentimes I go much simpler and I just theme them with colors. So if you look over on this side here, I've got white, black, gold, and lots of greenery. And then over here on this side, I've got a silver, a white, and pops of blush. So that's typically how I theme my tables. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through some different parts, and feel free to cut me off if I go over. Just let me know when I should stop talking.
Okay.
But basically we start with our base, which is our linen. And me personally, I like to do a very basic neutral linen because I love to play with the tablescape. And so I don't like it to be too busy. So that's not to say, of course, that you can't do a beautiful patterned linen, because I've seen so many of them. This summer, there was some beautiful florals that were done for weddings. If you're going to do a busier tablecloth, my suggestion is to go a lot less simple, more simple, sorry, on your tableware. So maybe not so much design, maybe keep it solid and pull your colors from the tablecloth. So for example, if you have a floral pattern that's hot pinks and light pinks, you want to pull that through into your florals, you want to pull it into your napkin, and that makes such a beautiful table. So you can definitely do that, but for today, I've chosen to go a lot more simple, keeping it neutral.
I pause you for a second. One quick question. Do you do this professionally?
I'm an event planner, so I touch on lots of different things. Decor isn't something I typically do myself. I usually work with decor people, but it's a passion of mine that I've done, you know, in addition to event planning. So I've picked up a lot of tricks along the years.
Okay, so you're an event planner. Okay, do you have a name for your company, or is it just your name?
It's Gloria Benalm Events.
Okay. Now, could you go back for a second to the leaves that you had in the napkin?
I'm going to get to that.
Oh, okay. I noticed something that I really liked, and I wanted to bring everyone's attention to it.
I'm going to get to that. So
okay.
I'm just going to point out a couple more things, but I will get back to that. I promise you.
Okay.
So basic white, basic silver, and then with my linens, what I've done is I've played off of the same color. So I'm using a white linen over here, and I'm using a gray linen napkin over here. Not to say that you can't do colors. Black would look fantastic. It would really pop on this, and blush if you can find it. It's trickier to find colors, so that's why I sort of stuck with neutrals, because they're more common to find. Lots of wonderful different napkin folds that you can do. Unfortunately, I don't have time to show you the folds, but I can show you some of the different ones. My favorite is the knot. This I used a lot this summer, and basically you just knot the napkin and it just frames the plate really, really nicely. Over here, I've done a long napkin, but what I've done is I've wrapped it around the salad plate so that it just sits like that. The other thing that you can do with the long napkin is you can put it under your charger plate so that it hangs, you can't really see, but it hangs over the bottom of the linen. I wouldn't recommend doing that if you're using a similar color, because then it's not going to pop. But if you're using a different color linen, you can totally do that. So that's the napkins. A couple of other really cool napkin folds are the pocket, where you can put it in. If you're doing a little menu card for dinner, you can put it inside, or you can put your seating card inside the pocket. And then of course there's the folds for cutlery, so you can put your forks in there and either put it to the left, or you can put it on top of your plate as well. If you don't want to glow with cloth, you can always go with really pretty paper. These are from IKEA. I think somebody mentioned IKEA before. It's one of my favorite stores to buy things for the table. And you can do that as well. So again, you just pop it onto the salad plate. You can put your seating card, and you can see that it's really, really pretty this way as well.
Wow.
Okay, so speaking of table cards, and I think that that's what caught your eye, and I'm going to get to that in a moment. With this table card, I went very simple. Dollar store fold over cards. I am a bit of a perfectionist, so I went and got the decals so that I could put my letters perfectly, but you don't have to do that. You can take a silver Sharpie, you can write your name on it, and that's just as beautiful. And then over here, I do like to be creative sometimes, and so what I've done is I've just taken a leaf.
I saw that.
A couple of jewels. I took my gold Sharpie and I wrote my name, and then I just put it on the plate, and it ties in really beautifully with the greens that are on the table.
I saw that. I noticed that right away.
It's the little details that sometimes make, you know, that difference. So the next thing I want to talk about, and for me is the most exciting part, is the actual tableware, because that's where you can really play. So it's very trendy right now to be eclectic and pull out all the different plates that you have and mix and match them. So, and layering them. That's also a really fun thing to do. So if you start over here on my silver side.
Before you get started, Gloria, before you get started, question.
Yeah.
Don't want to know,
Yeah.
is that leaf real or is it a silk leaf that you write on?
It's a real leaf.
Okay.
It's a real leaf. And I actually wrote it 3 days ago and it's still in good shape. Greens tend to stay a lot longer than your florals.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead. Go
No,
back.
interrupt away.
Okay.
So basically I start with the silver charger plate. I bought these at the Superstore for all you Torontonians. It was on clearance after the holidays. I think I paid $1.25. And a little tip, when you're buying things like this, buy them in volume so that when you do have bigger guests, you know, if you're doing entertaining for the holidays, that way you have tons of inventory to work with. And then I just used one pattern for dinner and then a different pattern for salad. And for bread, I use the same pattern, but of course you can change it up and use something different. As long as the colors work together, you really can mix and match. For the gold set, I didn't have a gold charger, so I used a gold placemat. And these were also very inexpensive. You can buy these on Amazon, which is another place that I source a lot of my stuff. And I think it's 10 for $30. And they come in lots of different colors. I actually just grabbed these ones the other day from the dollar store. So when I do my Hanukkah table, I'm going to do blue and silver and just alternate them.
Made it. I love that.
So really fun way to add some color. And then again, I have one pattern for my dinner, and then I have a different pattern for my salad. And then I have the same
the
pattern.
knot again? I want to see the knot again. Everyone loved that knot. Could you show the knot?
Do I have time to show you how to do it? It's so easy.
Go for it. Go for it.
Okay. Let me show you.
And then this will be the last thing. Is that okay, Gloria?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we're gonna end it with a knot.
Okay. So you fold your napkin in half so that the corners meet, and then you just roll inwards. You fold it inwards so that you've just got a nice long line. And then you literally just take it around your hand and knot it. Just like that.
Voila. And then you put the leaf in. I love that leaf. I love that leaf. That is genius. I really like that a lot. That's great. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Gloria. This was awesome. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Okay. We are now at the other end, our book end. We are now going to call on our next words of inspiration. Can we find Suzanne for us? Okay, go ahead, Suzanne. Tell us where you're from.
Well, I'm from Rockland County, New York. I live in Suffern, and I'm part of the J Inspire Rockland County group. And I've also done things with the Jewish Journeys group. And just very briefly wanted to touch on thankfulness and how thankful and grateful I am to have gone on a JWRP trip, to have been given that opportunity, and to then go on 2 second-level trips and just really learn about part of my culture that I never had growing up. I grew up in a secular Jewish neighborhood, but surrounding me, I lived not far from Muncie, and so surrounding me growing up, there were always religious people around me, and it always felt very us and them. And it's been so wonderful getting to know the community, surrounding me, that I always felt like I wasn't a part of. And, while I'm not, I don't know how to say it, but it's just so wonderful to be connected to all of the women that I've met on all of the trips I've gone on, and all of the Shabbatons and the functions. And I think I'm really grateful to Zoom and Facebook because I'm able to keep in touch with everybody I've met over the years. It's really been wonderful. And I love learning all about our, why we do everything that we do. And that's just all I really want to say. And thank you so much for giving me the opportunity.
No, please. And I second that. Suzanne, I went on my first trip summer 2019, and it has just changed my world. It has introduced me to Project Inspire, and without them, I would not be doing these shows, and I'm so thankful to be able to host these shows. It's unbelievable. I've been able to touch so many people's lives. And not only my life has it enhanced, but I think it's been able to enhance other people that are come on and see. And Suzanne, you're right. It's just to be a part of something larger than ourselves, to know that we're part of this great community that's out there and that we could tap into. And you're right, with COVID, it becomes a little bit more difficult, but like you said, Instagram, Facebook, social media, the Zooms, it really has afforded us the opportunity. And this really bridges us into something that we wanted to present to everybody, right, Eliza? There's something that Project Inspire has, a special Hanukkah gift. If I'm not mistaken, we have the flyer. Once we see the flyer, I could talk more about it. We're going to put it up there. It's coming up. Yeah, you see that? Reach out and share the light. During this time period, we are distant. Even I think it was Aviva who said she has this beautiful table set up now, and now she doesn't have the guests that she normally had. And that is somewhat a little painful for some of us. We're so accustomed to having a table full of guests, and it's painful a little bit when we don't. But this is a perfect way for us to reach out to our friends, to reach out to people that we know that we don't normally during this time period are able to reach out to. And Project Inspire has this beautiful flyer that you can find out more about it on their website. It says, reach out and share the light. You could get a gift for somebody. Tell them that you're thinking of them. This Hanukkah, you could really send that message. And that would be a beautiful, beautiful token. You could even find it, it's right there. It's on the chat. You could see it on the chat. There are other things besides this beautiful Hanukkah gift that we have. We have other programs that you could also partake in, right, Eliza? We have those other flyers as well coming up on the screen right now that we're going to share with you. Look at this. We have a Thanksgiving edition, Heroes of Gratitude. Look at that lineup of speakers. Of course, you have Charlie Harari, who's outstanding and amazing, but you have all these wonderful speakers. We always have the wonderful Jamie Geller, always giving us a little bit of a taste of something delicious. And it's a show that's become superbly popular. You don't want to miss it. A special edition coming up this Thursday. And then I think we might have the learning flyer. Do we have the learning flyer, Eliza? Yeah? Greetings from Seattle. Go ahead. We're towards the end. You could definitely say where you're from. I love saying hello to everybody. Is there another flyer about the one-on-one learning that we have? Just wondering if we don't have the flyer, that's okay. That's okay if you don't have the flyer, but there's a one-on-one learning. You could also find out more information from Project Inspire. If there's something that you want to learn there, you might feel a little bit isolated at home. You could definitely connect with somebody and learn something. I personally learn every Tuesday with two women. We're starting from the very beginning of Sefer Bereshit, and we're already in the 3rd chapter. It's awesome. It's amazing. We learn for 45 minutes every Thursday via Zoom. We go verse by verse by verse, and it's filling them up. So it's very rewarding for me as the teacher, as well as for the students. Again, we have Mexico here. Hello. I don't know if it's two people from Mexico, if it's the same person from Mexico. You could say where you're from for sure. And I'm glad. Minneapolis. Excellent. Hello from Minneapolis. So, this is the thankful show. This was the show that we just wanted to show our appreciation. We wanted to show our appreciation not only to Project Inspire for running these shows, not only to all the wonderful speakers that we had, but really an appreciation for the day of itself, for Shabbat, for Shabbos, by making it beautiful. That's how we show our appreciation, by setting up the table. Like I said, that little tidbit, you could set the table already Thursday night. Your family wakes up Friday, it sets a tone for the household. You could do any of those beautiful decor that we saw tonight. You could do something thematic, is also beautiful. I see Bayside, we got Alabama, Arizona, great. And I don't usually plug myself, but I'm gonna do it. If you like what I say, you could find me on Facebook by my name, Jordana Baruchov, or Instagram by J Baruchov. I do a weekly Dvar Torah called Drink It In, and people really like it. So find me, follow me. You might enjoy it. I love feedback. So always send feedback. And if you like the shows, like I said in the beginning, if you weren't on the show in the beginning, show your gratitude. Email Project Inspire. Let them know this is what you loved and you want to see more of it. Highland Park, thank you. If we want to have the whole screen, we could have the gallery right now. And everybody, yes.
Just on behalf of Toronto and Project Inspire, I just want to actually unmute Pessy Florence, who's just going to say something.
Oh, sure, Pessy, please.
Back. Hi. Keeping in the theme of being thankful and being that this is the last show, Taste of Shabbat show, on behalf of Project Inspire Toronto, and I think I could speak for everybody who's been watching this show, we want to acknowledge and thank all the people who were involved in making this show possible and making it the success that it has been. And we hope that they'll come up with new, Project Inspire will come up with new ideas to keep us Zooming together. So first of all, Rabbi Barnett, who I think was the one who sort of catapulted this whole Taste of Shabbat into being something, and spearheaded this project back in August when he got together a bunch of the Project Inspire people and tried to inspire everyone to come up with something that we can do to keep everybody involved. So thank you to Rabbi Barnett. And of course, to our wonderful and amazing hostess, Jordana, who came back week after week after week with energy and just being tireless, and just watching you made me tired. Jordana, thank you so much for all you've done. And I just don't know if everybody realizes what goes into it. It's not Jordana just coming on for an hour and running the show. Beforehand, all the prep that goes into it and discussing, talking to everybody and making sure the scheduling goes right. That's all on her head. So thank you to Jordana. And to the amazing tech people who are doing all the spotlighting and highlighting and letting you in and making sure that all the lighting and everything goes on right. Aliza Wallerstein, she is an incredible person who, besides doing all this, is also juggling a family, and I've watched her juggling her little child on her lap while she's having meetings on Zoom to make sure that everything runs smoothly. And to our amazing, tireless, wonderful Project Inspire director from Toronto, Miriam Leibowitz.
Oh, Miriam.
Yes.
Doing all the, also behind the scenes tech, all you behind the scenes people that everybody doesn't really see. Thank you, and Yasher Koach, and you should continue to be able to do everything for us and for Project Inspire, and to help all of Israel and all the people of Israel. And hopefully we'll have Mashiach soon and we'll be able to do this all together in Yerushalayim.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Pessy. That was very special. This has been a very, very uplifting, inspirational project that we've taken on. And you're right. Thank you, Rabbi Barnett, for entrusting me to host it every week. And thank you, Aliza, for partnering with me. And thank you, Miriam, for being behind the scenes as well. You're like our tech runner-up and always helping in the pinch. And we so appreciate it. And I'm so glad that people have come back week after week after week. I know there was a special raffle that was going to be going on. I'm sure you'll get an email if you won that special Shabbos tablecloth. I mean, I would love to hear if there's somebody who's been on the show every single week. Has there anybody here tonight that's seen every single episode live? Put your name in the chat. I'd love to see that. That would be really special. I'd love to highlight you, and maybe Aliza could find you. If there is someone like that, I don't know. We'd love to highlight you and thank you for coming and being present every single week and supporting Project Inspire. Okay, I watch it every week. Melanie Siegel. Can we find Melanie Siegel? Aliza, are you able to find? Melanie, yes, you were from last week. Hi, Melanie. And you made some of the recipes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else watch the show week after week? Thank you, Melanie, for always coming on. I'm so sweet of you. So sweet. Where are you from, Melanie, again?
Arizona.
Arizona. Okay. Anybody else has seen it week after week after week? Iris. has watched all of them. Iris Khan. Do you see Iris Khan? It's IRISCAHN. Where's Iris? Can we feature Iris? That would be great. Where's Iris? Can you find her, Eliza?
Yeah, it's not letting me spotlight her for some reason.
Oh.
Oh, there she is.
Where we still have Melanie spotlight. You got to take the spotlight off of Melanie and then.
Right there, it's not coming on.
Oh.
I don't know why it's not coming on for her.
Okay, how about Janet? Janet Michael. Janet Michael. She said she watched all the shows. Janet Michael. Can we spotlight Janet? Hi, Janet. Where are you from? Where are you from?
I'm born in Bombay.
Bombay.
Yeah, and I lived in Israel, and now I'm in Calgary.
Wow, and you've watched every single show?
Yes, I do, and every Thursdays for Charlie's.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much. Wow, thank you so much. And we have another one, Michelle Reichner. Do you see Michelle Reichner? Hi, Michelle. Where are you from? Wait, you're muted. You have to unmute yourself, Michelle.
Suffering, Rockland County.
Yay! Okay, you watched every show. Thank you so much. This is the
Thank
thank you show. This is
So inspiring. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you for coming on every single show. Anybody else? Anybody else has seen the show? Oh, Mitch Halpern. We've got a Mitch Halpern. Love the show every week. We could find Mitch Halpern.
Mitch has turned on his video so I could spotlight him.
Okay.
If he wants to be spotlighted.
Oh, okay. Okay. But so thank you, Mitch, for coming on every single week. It's so special. Thank you, everybody. Again, look out for any emails if we do anything special. We're trying. We'd love to do a special one for Hanukkah. You know, if you want something, if you're interested in something, send an email to Projects Inspire. You know, you never know. If you have an idea and it's something that we can do, we'll go with it. And we'd love to hear what your thoughts are. So thank you very much. Have a happy Thanksgiving for all those in the US. And thank you, Toronto, for a special evening and showing us how to accessorize our tables.